Good morning. Today's kind of our wrapping up quadratic equations, and I'm sure you're going to be excited about that. We're going to use the quadratic equation today, so you're going to definitely need a calculator. There's a ton of computation, just like yesterday where we were completing the square. We have a couple warm-ups here of completing the square to make sure that we got that yesterday. So I hope you finished that assignment. And then we're going to move into quadratic equation. Pause your video, do these warm-ups. All right, let's see how you did. So that is a quadratic equation when we have an x squared plus bx plus c, and we can write it in that form. I got 16 for the first one. Should have taken 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and squared it. Problem number 3, is 20.25. And number 4, my zeros are 2 and negative 12 is what I came up with. This looks like a hard equation. Where is it? Here it is. This is the quadratic equation. And so we want to kind of start working on memorizing this. Usually if you memorize and then don't do it for a while, it just takes a little bit of looking to see it. But we've already done some of this. This guy right here is finding the vertex, b over 2a. The minus b is just, or the square root is just completing the square. And that b over 2 is also completing the square, what we did yesterday. Whatever our b is, divided by 2 and square it. So a lot of this is just putting it all together and using one formula. So the first thing we always need to do is make sure it's in the it's in standard form, and that one is. And so we're going to leave it so we can see our formula up there. We have minus b, which is this middle term. So we have minus 3 plus minus square root of 3 squared minus 4 times our a, which is 2, times our c, which is minus 5. Now all that's over 2a, but I'm going to leave some room so that I can do all this work real quick. And I got to find my calculator. There it is. So I like to do all this underneath the quadratic equation real quick. Well, I know that's 9. We're going to write small today so that we can fit it all in here. We got minus 4 times 2 times 5, negative 5. All that's going to equal 40, positive 40. So underneath my radical sign is really 49. Still have a minus 3 plus minus. Now I'm going to do my 2 times a, and usually I just do 2 times a in my head, which is 2 times 2, which would be 4. 49 is a perfect square, so I'm pretty excited about that. So now I'm going to write the equation twice. I want to say minus 3 plus 7, because the square root of 49 is 7, over 4, and minus 3 minus 7 over 4. Now I'm going to do that work. 7 take away 3 is 4, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. That's 10. 10 divided by 4 is negative 2.5. Negative 2.5. I'll space my answer out here. So I can write and in there. So my zeros are 1 and negative 2.5. Okay. I'll just come up here and clarify my work here. We had a 4 over 4. Here, negative 3 and negative 7 was a negative 10 over 4. That's how I got negative 2.5. All right, so we want to get it into standard form. So again, I can do this in our head, and hopefully you can too. I'd get that x squared to the other side, which would be a minus x. My 2x is already on the left, so I'm going to leave that. But to get that 3 over, I'd have plus 3 equals 0. Let's go to our quadratic equation. Minus b, which is a minus 2. There's a minus in the formula. Plus minus b squared minus 4 times my a times my c. Again, leave some room and do all this work real quick. 4 times 4, or negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 4, that's 12. So really I have a square root of 16. Now when I going to do my 2 times a. My a is a -1, so that's going to make it -2. And lucky for me and you, we have square root of 16, which is a perfect square. So I write -2 plus 4 over -2, -2 minus 4 over -2. So -1 is going to be one of my zeros. And 3. Okay, you got to be real careful about your signs and your numbers and keeping track of things, because there's a whole lot of number work in here. All right, try working on the formula. I have it written on my board in the classroom, but if you have to look up there, go ahead and use it, but work on memorizing. Okay, pause your video and do those two, and let's see how we did. All right, let's see how you did. On my end, I got a -1/3 and a +2. And on the other one, I got a -1/5 and 2. Okay. Now, a lot of times they're not nice whole numbers like that. So we want to kind of do an estimate kind of a deal, because we're going to do some rounding, kind of like we did yesterday when we said just round it to the hundredths place. So let's still use this quadratic formula. It's minus b. That's all in standard form. So I have a -2, -2, and I can keep that in parentheses. So again, I would suggest that you leave some room there. You can do all this math. -4 times 1 is -4 times -4 is a +16. So that's going to be a square root of 20 I'm going to need. That negative, I'll make it into a positive, because 2 negatives equals a positive. And now 2 times my a, which is 1. So now this is where what we did yesterday. We would say 2 plus the square root of 20 over 2, and 2 minus the square root of 20 over 2. So now I would do that work in my calculator. I'm getting, for that one, a 3.24, because I'm rounding my decimal. And now I got 2 minus the square root of 20 divided by 2. And I'm getting a -1.24. So it's an about, because we rounded it, okay? Not exact answers. So hopefully you got that one. You give this one a shot. I didn't have an extra one of these, so maybe we'll just do this one both together, but you try to get ahead of me and start working on it. See if we come up with the same thing. Hopefully you got a -8. $64 take away 8. 56 is my square root. I want to make that -8 a +8. And now I'm going to do my 2 times my a. So 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm pretty sure 56 is not a nice number. So I'm going to say 8 plus the square root of 56 over 4. 8 minus the square root of 56 over 4. Again, grab that calculator and go to work. done, I got a 3.87. Now I'm getting 0.2, or excuse me, 0.13. I want to do that first one again because I didn't know if I used 56 or 54. I want to check that first one again. And I'm getting 3.87 again, so I used the right number. All right, so it's kind of what we did yesterday, so nothing big there. We're not afraid of decimals. Sometimes they'll leave the answer like this. They'll just kind of say, you know what, 56 isn't a perfect square, or it's a decimal, so we don't want to estimate, so just leave it that way. Now, this is kind of a big one here. It's kind of, we just want to know if we have 2 zeros, 1 0, or no zeros, and this is a fast way to know. It's called discriminants. And all we're going to do is use this part of the equation, that b squared minus 4ac underneath that radical sign. We're just going to do that. If they just want to know how many zeros are going to be on this quadratic equation, how many answers should we expect, we're going to plug that in. Now, here's the key. When you're all done, if your answer is positive, well, then we have 2 real numbers. Okay. If our number is exactly 0 when we do our work, we have 1 solution. And if we have a negative answer, then we have no real numbers. So it kind of speeds things up. If they say, hey, tell me some things about it, and how many zeros do we have, we'll just use that b squared minus 4ac. It's kind of nice because then you don't have to do the whole quadratic equation. And so again, it's called using the discriminants. Tell me how many zeros there are. So it's the b squared minus 4ac. It's the part that's underneath the radical sign. So we're going to get 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times my c, which is 2. That's going to be 100. I already think I know what this answer is going to be. Negative 4 times 3 times 2. So minus 24. That's going to be 100 take away 24. 76. So again, if we have a positive answer, if it's greater than 0, we have 2 solutions. So we have 2 zeros or 2 solutions. Let's try this one. Minus 6 squared minus 4 times 9 minus 1 times 1. That's going to be 36. Negative 4 times 9 times 1 is a negative 36. So that's going to be a 0. So if it was 0, we have 1 real solution, or 1 0. Let's try this one. It's not b squared. I'm back to the quadratic equation automatically in my head. So we got 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1. That's 1 minus 4, that's a minus 3. So in this one, we don't have any zeros because it's less than 0. Okay? All right. So that's called using the discriminants. Just again, I'll leave that formula up for the test and review next week, but you should really try to start to memorize it. All right, do these 3 real quick. And I think I have the answers on the next page, so pause it. All right, let's see how you did. I got no zeros or solutions on the first one, 1 solution, then 2 solutions. And there's my work. All right. So again, if all you want to know is how many zeros there are. Sorry about this. I don't know what happened. My picture's down here. And anyhow, we're going to do this quadratic equation, and they just want to know, will the bell ring at the top of the pole? So basically they're saying if I have using discriminants, if I have two solutions, then it's going to hit the pole. If I have none, that means it didn't go up. Okay. If I hit one, which is kind of weird, that would be still it's not going to hit the pole. It just went up, but not actually hit the bell up there. Okay. So here's our minus 16t squared. There's our velocity now that somebody measured. And right here we have a c. And they said it's a foot above the ground. So that's going to be like my y-intercept. So let's write things in. We got the height of that pole down there is 20. So you got to put that guy in there. Equals minus 16t squared plus our velocity, which they said is 35 feet per second. So it's going to be 35t. And then we have the height of the platform. It's a foot off of the ground, they said. Okay. So what do you want to do? Let's get everything over to the left side of the equation. So that's going to be a plus 16t squared. Going to get that 35t over there to the other side. So that's going to be minus 35t's. And we get that 1 over there, which would be minus 1. So that's going to be a plus 19. Okay. Got it in standard form. Everything's on the left. Now, since I just want to know the discriminants, we're going to use that formula. I got minus 35 squared minus 4 times my A times my C. Let's see what 35 squared is. That's 1225. And now 4 times 16 times 19, that's 1216. And it's going to be a negative 1216. That's going to be a 9. It's a positive, so that means I have 2. So yes, it will hit the bell. There are 2 solutions. All right, so this wraps it up. On Monday, I just have like 10 quadratic equations. I'll have a sub. And then Tuesday, we will have the test review. You're going to do the test review, and then you'll go home and check your answers and put your score into the Google form. I'm going to be gone, so I'll be able to look up your submission of your score. And then on Wednesday, you'll take the test, and then you'll grab a computer and put your answers into Google Forms, and it will grade your test for you. All right. Thursday will be kind of like a free day, or wrap up the test if you were absent on Wednesday. All right. And then I hope you have a good spring break. So there will be no video on Monday or next week at all. It'll be just the answers and the worksheets. Okay. All right. We'll see you on the backside of spring break. Have a good day.